Hey, boys and girls, this book is called Life in the Bay by Lisa Oram, and this is from Pearson Scott Foresman Science. Life in the Bay. What you already know. Animals and plants need each other to live. Animals use plants and other animals for shelter. Some animals use plants to make nests, and some animals live on other animals. Animals use plants or other animals for food. Animals help plants spread their seeds. Plants and animals depend on each other through food chains. Plants take in light from the sun to grow. Animals eat plants and other animals. Animals that eat animals have sharp pointed teeth. Animals that eat plants have flat teeth. A caterpillar eats a leaf. A bird eats the caterpillar. The leaf, the caterpillar, and the bird are part of a food chain. There are different food chains in deserts and marshes. In this book, you will read about animals and plants that live in the San Francisco Bay. San Francisco Bay. Water is important in California. The Pacific Ocean borders the whole state. There are many rivers and lakes in California. The San Francisco Bay is a body of water in California. The bay connects the Sacramento River and the San Joaquin River to the Pacific Ocean. San Francisco Bay. Many people live around the bay. Plants and animals live in the bay too. The Suisun Marsh is in the bay. It is the largest wetland in California, and a wetland is an area of land that has a lot of water and soil. Oceans have salt water. Rivers have fresh water. The bay is a mixture of salt water and fresh water. The saltiness of the bay water changes. Tides are the rise and fall of the ocean, and at high tide, the bay fills with ocean water. At low tide, the bay has less salty water. There's more fresh water from the river. Ocean tides change the bay. Weather also changes the saltiness of the bay. Rain brings fresh water to the bay. When snow melts in the mountains, more fresh water reaches the bay. The amount of fresh water changes with the seasons. In summer, it is dry. There's less fresh water and more salt water in the bay. In winter, it is wet. There is more fresh water and less salt water in the bay. And rain brings water to the bay. Animals in the bay. The bay is a special place for animals to live. Many different animals live there. Some animals live on the muddy bottom of the bay. Living things attached to shells of decorator crabs. They hide the crabs from fish that might eat them. There are lots of fish in the bay. Salmon live in the ocean most of their lives, but they lay their eggs in fresh water. Some salmon swim through the bay to the rivers. Delta smelt also live in the bay. They eat zooplankton. Zooplankton are tiny animals, and they are too small to see with your eyes. Bird watchers love the San Francisco Bay. Thousands of birds live and feed there. Swans, ducks, and geese use the bay for food and shelter. Some birds find food in the shallow waters. They eat small fish and animals. The brown pelican flies over deeper water, and it dives for food from the air. A brown pelican lands in the bay. Seals and sea lions live in the bay. Harbor seals live mostly in the north and south parts of the bay. You might see baby seals in the spring. Harbor seals don't like noise or people. If you see them on an island, stay away. Sea lions sit on the rocks near Pier 39, and they don't seem to mind the busy city. Sea lions like to lie on the pier. Plants in the bay. Many different plants live in the San Francisco Bay. Cattails in the marsh can be 6 feet tall. California poppies grow in dry parts of the marsh. Algae are tiny plants that float in the water. It's the most common plant in the bay, and the food chain starts with algae. Eelgrass lives covered by water. It grows in underwater fields. Eelgrass grows quickly. It has flowers, and leaves fall off into the mud. The leaves make the mud better for other animals and plants. Young fish make their homes in eelgrass. Snails eat the leaves. Pickleweed grows close to the ground, and sometimes tides cover it. Pickleweed can grow very thick. It can also live in salty water. It has flowers that bloom in the spring and summer. And some animals also live in pickleweed. They can hide from hawks and in the branches. So this is pickleweed. In summer, there might be orange strings on the pickleweed. The strings are another plant called saltmarsh dodder. The thin strings dig their roots into the pickleweed, and soon the pickleweed roots will die. Saltmarsh dodder. People in the Bay. San Francisco is a big city, and many people live around the bay. They ride boats and go fishing in the bay. People use water from the bay, and they build dams to hold back the water. Big pumps take water from the bay for drinking. Farmers use water that goes into the bay for their fields, and this dam is on a river that goes into the bay. People change the habitat or natural place, where animals and plants live. Animals and plants can be hurt by changes in their habitat. Water from the bay helps generate electricity. The saltmarsh harvest mouse lives in the San Francisco Bay. It is endangered. This means it could die out. There aren't many of them around. At high tide, the mice hide in bushy plants like pickleweed. There are not enough plants to protect them. The mice need salty water to live. Cities around the bay put extra fresh water into the bay, and this hurts the mice. Saltmarsh harvest mouse. Scientists study the bay. They count the plants and they watch where the animals move. People make plans to keep the bay healthy. People, plant, and animals all need the San Francisco Bay. Glossary. Endangered. In danger of dying out. Habitat. A place where an animal or plant or animal lives. Tides. The rise and fall of the ocean. Wetland. A place that is covered by water at least part of the year. What did you learn? How do animals in the bay use eelgrass? And where do some salmon lay their eggs? This book is called Life in the Bay by Pearson Scott Foresman. Science! I hope you loved it.